Welcome back to I've Got Something to Tell You with Tayler and
Colleen.
Episode 36.
Yep.
I remembered. Well, we have some exciting news this week.
We do.
You want to say it?
Do you want to say it?
Should we say it together?
Let's say it together.
Say it completely different.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking.
Having a live show on Saturday.
October 11th.
Mm-hmm. At Jared's Coffee Shop.
Yeah. So if
and
you
Tea Gallery.
Yes. Yeah. So if you just listen to our latest because I think we have a bonus episode coming out tomorrow too. But if you listen to episode 17 bonus episode, it's at Jared's. And now we're going to be live and in person.
Yeah.
In front of people.
In front of people. I know. We're a little nervous, but we're more excited.
Yeah.
We have a lot of supporters coming, so we're excited about that. But also, so Jared's, if you go on our social media, you can see exactly where it is, like the address and everything, but it's in Mesa, Arizona. For local people, you should try and come see us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put some faces to the voices.
Mm-hmm. Just be like, I listen to the podcast. Be like,
just
cool.
tell us. Yeah.
But I feel like that's all I've been up to this week. I mean, it's pretty big news. So
yeah.
It's taken over this weekend.
It has, for sure.
But yeah, so we'll have a good story for you guys. And that will also, I think, be recorded and posted.
We'll record it and post it for sure.
Yeah.
So if you're not in Arizona, you can still hear the story.
And there will be a visual too. We're recording.
Oh,
video.
I was like, wait.
You're like, we didn't discuss this.
I was supposed to make like a PowerPoint? What is happening?
Your face.
I got so nervous about being I'm not prepared.
No, because that would be me too. Not the PowerPoint. That is triggering.
I just got really scared. That's the scariest story you've ever told me.
That would have spooked myself too. You did look very scared when I said that. I was like, what do you think I signed us up for?
I'm also leaving tomorrow, so I have like really high intensity about like whenever I travel about like packing and stuff, and I have not packed. So I have to go home and pack after this. I'm like, wait, no, I've got to do my story and I have to do like a presentation and
I don't know how you do that. I don't know.
What do you mean?
Like, I don't know. I wouldn't be able to do that.
You did that. You just came back from a trip and did like a story like immediately after.
Well, yeah, but it wasn't a live show. But I feel like if anyone could do it, you can.
Well, thank you.
That's what I'm saying. If it were me, it probably wouldn't happen.
Well, thanks for believing in me. That's why it's perfect that we're doing this together.
We balance each other out.
Yeah.
And that's what I was telling my friend last night. Like, I let her know we had a live show. I'm like, well, normally this is something that would freak me out a lot, but I'm really glad I get to do it with you because it's like we kind of get to like, it takes the pressure off. We can go off of each other. So.
Yeah, I agree. Like I went to dinner with my in-laws. It was Kyle's parents, my in-laws' 37th wedding anniversary. So we took him to dinner. And I was telling his mom about the show and she's like, this feels so out of like your comfort zone. She's like, it's good. It's like, it's really good. But she's like, it just, like the podcast itself was so out of my comfort zone. Like, and I know it's out of yours too, but like Taylor's probably a little bit more extroverted than I am.
I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. Cause I also feel like you're like really good at like public speaking.
Ooh.
You are.
I'll take the compliment, but
see, that's where the balance comes in. I think. But yeah, the podcast was definitely out of my comfort zone too. But we had a conversation where we felt like we thought that it made us like a little better at speaking. Like
we both have a lot of like anxiety and stuff like that. Like, and I think we've talked about it on the pod. And I'm not trying to speak for you either.
Oh no.
But like
you're correct.
But like, I don't know, kind of just putting ourselves out there a little bit more. I know we've talked about it. Like it's helped us a little bit with just like, hey, it's not as scary as like we thought it would be.
Yeah.
You know, people have been really supportive, luckily. Like, we've been very lucky in that sense. But
and then you also kind of just stop giving a fuck, to be honest.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, we had one person comment one time. I forget what it's like. I don't even remember what it said. And I was just like, whatever. They don't even know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
You know?
I know. The random people, I'm like, whatever, man.
Yeah. Because all of the positivity that we've gotten from like just our friends and our family and like the few people that we see online.
Yeah.
You know, you're out there.
Yeah.
Like, has been really great. So it's helped me a lot with just feeling a little bit more confident and trying something that feels scary.
Yeah, I think so too. And I mean, that's where growth comes in.
Yeah.
You got to do some stuff that's scary sometimes. And we're about to do it again next week. So come visit us. Thank you.
Only if you're going to be nice.
No hecklers.
Yeah.
I will get you.
I will tell you that I have a few friends coming from my boxing gym who are like real boxers.
You got to watch out. Yeah, and we have a lot of loyal family and friends coming too, so watch it.
The Ixty Mafia will be there.
We just start threatening them. Anyway.
Okay.
Moving on.
No, it's going to be really fun. No threats.
Yeah. No threats. Please come October 11th at Jared's Coffee Shop, downtown Mesa at 6 p.m. Thank you.
Yep. Norman cut out all of the threats that were just made.
Cut all of that out. We are nice people.
Yep.
So anyway, it's October. It's spooky season. So, Colleen, I've got something to tell you.
Tell me.
I've been wanting to do this story forever, and I can't wait because it's finally October.
I know. Okay. And Tayler warned me about it.
I did.
I don't know the story, but I've been warned. I know the concept.
The concept of it.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm covering the Conjuring house, also known as the Perron house.
I know this one. Just kidding.
You kind of do.
Yeah.
Maybe not the details.
No,
but.
I don't know any of the details.
So I'm going to be using a lot of quotes in here from the oldest daughter, Andrea, who wrote a 3-volume memoir titled House of Darkness, House of Light, which I feel like it was kind of cool reading those because it's from their perspective. So anyway, let's get into it. So in a quiet corner of Rhode Island, tucked along the Massachusetts line, sits the Perron house, also known as the Conjuring house, built in 1736. Old-ass house.
Yeah.
Crazy. 8 generations have lived and died in this house. Several children have drowned in the nearby creek, hung themselves in the attic, and one was even murdered.
Oh my God.
The house has stood through the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, so you could imagine there's some dark history there. On January 11th, 1971, Roger and Carolyn Perron moved to their new 300-year-old home with their 5 daughters, Andrea, Nancy, Christine, Cindy, and April. They didn't realize at the time that they would have ghostly roommates. Their oldest daughter, Andrea, I just repeated myself, wrote a book about their experience. And in an interview, she says, "We all experienced encounters with spirits. Some were unpleasant, some were lovely, cordial, and communicative. From benign to benevolent to oblivious to mean-spirited, the spirits were just like us, a wide variety of personalities." Which I feel like that was a pretty good description because, I mean, they are like humans that passed away.
They're individuals, yeah.
After moving in, almost immediately, strange things began to occur and escalated rapidly. It started off with small things, first reported by Carolyn that the broom would go missing. She would think that one of the kids misplaced it. Then there would be a small pile of dirt in places she had just swept. Almost like one of the kids were playing a prank on her, but it was silent and there were no kids in sight.
You got a witch in your house.
Yep.
She's stealing a broom.
Bell witch?
No, you would know.
She would make it very clear.
Yeah, it would be very much known.
Yeah, this is... Well, we'll get to her.
Oh.
Not the Bell Witch.
Oh.
A different...
There's really a witch?
Mm-hmm. She's scary, though.
Oh. I got it.
We like the Bell Witch.
I love the Bell Witch.
So then they began to see shadows in the corners, hear footsteps throughout the house when everyone was accounted for in the same room. And they would see their bedroom doors slowly open just a little bit. According to the family, a lot of the spirits seemed harmless, but then there were some that were angry. One angry spirit in particular presented itself as Bathsheba Sherman. Have you heard of
Bathsheba?
Mm-hmm.
Like one name or two? Beth?
One. So
Bathsheba?
it's like Bathsheba.
I don't like that.
It's very intense. But I like how she has like a normal last name, Sherman.
Yeah. Bathsheba Stevens.
Bathsheba Johnson. Just kidding. Mrs. Sherman, who lived on the property in the 1800s and was buried near the house. Andrea, the oldest daughter, was quoted saying, "Whoever the spirit was, she perceived herself to be the mistress of the house, and she resented the competition my mother posed for that position." Yeah.
So love that she saw her as competition.
She's like, that bitch. Bathsheba Sherman was rumored to be a Satanist, and there was even evidence that she was involved in the death of a neighbor's child who was under her care. It was said that she sacrificed the baby to the devil, and they found what looked like a sewing needle punctured in the child's skull.
Oh my God.
I know. There are no records of her going to trial for murder or witchcraft. She died on May 25th, 1885, at about 72 years old, and she's buried in Harrisville Cemetery, where her headstone can still be seen today.
Cool.
Wild.
Yeah.
In the winter of 1971, the first few months that the family has moved into the home, the family began seeing apparitions of what they thought to be Bathsheba. They described her as looking as if she had a distorted face. Carolyn started describing the feeling that she was being watched. One day she was in the kitchen, and to set the scene, the kitchen is lit by mostly just oil lamps and a wood stove, so very dimly lit kitchen with low ceilings and what they described as uneven, creaky wood floors. Classic haunted house. She stayed home and worked in the house while Roger was at work and the kids were at school, so she spent hours cleaning, unpacking, and tending to chores in the silent, creaky house. She would be in the middle of her tasks when all of a sudden she would begin to feel sudden stinging pains on her skin, as though an invisible sewing needle was puncturing her skin.
Bathsheba.
Yep.
She likes the needle. Yeah. She likes the needles.
She loves the needles, man. This seemed to happen mostly when she was alone, and when she would go to examine the area, she found puncture wounds. This started happening more and more often, and she felt as if she was being targeted by the presence in the home. And in her own words, she said she felt as if she was being used as a pincushion.
Oh, no.
Sad. I know. Also gross.
Yeah.
Eventually, in around 1972, the children became targets of the abuse as well. Their daughters, Andrea and Cindy, began experiencing being pinched, slapped, and tugged by invisible hands while they're trying to sleep. I know you love the slap. It's very Bell Witch.
I know. I was like, wait a second.
I know. When I read that part, I was like, she's going to like that. They would even have bruises and red marks that would appear on their skin from this. Then they began to hear a woman's voice, to which they described her voice as harsh, whispering to them at night. The voice was said to be angry and commanding and would call both of their names. Yuck. The worst part was when this presence would appear, along came with it the smell of rotting flesh.
Oh,
or what they would
gross.
think is rotting
Yeah.
flesh. The family said that the smell would fill every inch of every room, and the temperature would also drop dramatically. I
Not
know.
a fan. I can't.
Disgusting.
Can't stand a smell.
And I can't even imagine what rotting flesh smells like. That has to be bad. That has to be like top
I'll say
worst smells.
One of the top worst smells I hate is like, you know, when people like burn their tires, like the tire, like,
oh yeah, like burnt rubber or whatever.
Yeah, that smells like rotting eggs to me.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't
so
remember.
I can't even imagine how bad that.
Flesh rotting. Ugh. So bad. And that's how you know Bathsheba is just not cool.
Absolutely not. Bell Witch would kick her ass.
Bell Witch would never.
She would never. She smells like roses.
Yeah. She's like, I would never associate myself with that smell.
Yeah. You can't sit with us.
She's like, we are not the same.
Yeah.
Around 1973, Carolyn began waking up in the middle of the night with an immense pressure on her chest. And when her eyes could adjust to the darkness, she saw Bathsheba standing at the foot of her bed, attempting to suffocate Carolyn. And this started happening frequently, and it became more aggressive. And Carolyn was like, I think just from lack of sleep, from being abused, was like slowly, like it was wearing on her like really badly. Aside from Bathsheba, according to the family, there were also other angry spirits that caused their beds to shake and rise off the floor at 5:15 every morning.
Wait, I thought we were safe after like 4 a.m. I thought 3 to 4 was haunting.
Not in this house.
Oh my, there are no rules.
I know. I mean, I feel safer at that time because normally, at least in the summer, the sun's already kind of out. I mean, in the winter, though, I guess it's not. Oh, and this is in the winter, so it's black outside.
Oh, my God.
So when Roger went down to the cellar, he claimed the temperature would drop to freezing. And the smell of what they would think, the human rotting flesh smell would come out of nowhere in the cellar, too. They avoided the cellar as much as possible. However, that's where the heating equipment would be, and it would stop working mysteriously even after getting it fixed. So he would have no choice but to go down there. And from what I watched, because I watched this, like, I don't remember their names, but they're YouTubers that explore haunted places. Mm-hmm. They stayed at the Conjuring house, I think, for like a week.
A week?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my.
It's like I think they did like, it was like a 3-parter, I think. And each one was like 2 hours. And I was like watching it while I worked. I kept like looking behind my shoulder.
Oh,
it was
bet.
Spooky.
Ew.
And I was watching it in the middle of the daytime. But they went down to the cellar and like so many things happened down there. It was creepy. Like they picked up so many voices. Their cameras would just like die, which we've experienced before. But yeah, there was a lot of stuff and it was very creepy.
Ew, I hate that.
So they put up with this from 1971 to like early 1973, which is insane. The parents were mostly silent about their struggles, feeling that they would be ridiculed if they talked about it publicly. Andrea is quoted saying, "Mother never wanted to tell anyone. She feared we would be taken from her, that people would think she had lost her mind, but she was wasting away before our eyes." So sometime in 1973, Ed and Lorraine Warren heard of what the parents were going through, except not from the family directly. A local paranormal group was contacted after hearing about the haunting. Andrea said, "We didn't seek them out. They found us. Someone had told them about the strange going-ons in the old Arnold estate. And one night, they just showed up at our door." No warning.
They were conjured.
They're like, they were conjured. Immediately, as Lorraine Warren, a clairvoyant, which, side note, I didn't know that she was a clairvoyant up until I read this part. But apparently, since she was 7 years old, she's always seen light around people, and which I'm assuming is like auras. And she said that's when she realized she could communicate with spirit. So I was like, that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, as soon as she stepped in the home, she immediately picked up on a dark female energy. She's quoted saying, "I felt the presence of death and despair, but above all, I felt a woman's rage. This was not a wandering spirit. This was something that claimed ownership." Lorraine eventually told her she felt that she was communicating with Bathsheba Sherman, in which Carolyn felt vindicated after hearing this. Carolyn said in an interview, "Lorraine looked me in the eyes and told me, 'You are not imagining this. Something is here and it does not want you to stay.' It was the first time I felt believed." I was like, oh.
I'd also be like, say less. Let's move.
No, let's get out of here. So after Lorraine kind of validated her, Carolyn allowed the Warrens to further investigate the house since they weren't invited. They kind of had to, I feel like that was like her way of being like, this is what you're going through.
Yeah.
And yeah. So the Warrens returned several times after the initial visit, interviewing the children to get their stories and experiences. They documented paranormal activity through written notes, photographs, and audio recordings. On one occasion, Lorraine claimed to see a woman with a broken neck near the farmhouse beams, which matched the Perron's daughter's earlier experiences when they described Bathsheba, I think. Didn't write that in here, but I think that's who they were talking about. Ed and Lorraine Warren came to the conclusion after tons of research that this was not a typical haunting. This was an oppression, which means the spirit was actively trying to harm someone and control someone, and that person was Carolyn. The family would try to pray together, sprinkle holy water throughout the house, read passages from the Bible. However, this would most often make things worse, and it would piss off the spirit. After the prayer, doors would slam and cold drafts would sweep the room. Which I would be like, stop immediately.
Yeah.
By 1974, Carolyn's condition had worsened. She was being attacked in her sleep most nights, waking up to bruises and being unable to breathe. This is when the Warrens suggested having a seance.
No.
Bad idea.
Right. It's going to be bad, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I figured.
In the movie, like the Conjuring movie, they had an exorcism, but this was not an exorcism.
Okay.
That's one of the big differences. Because the purpose with this seance was to communicate with the spirit, like Lorraine wanted to communicate and drive them away. Andrea is quoted saying, "My mother was fading before us. The seance was not our idea. It was the Warrens. But by then we were desperate. So they went along with it."
Mm-hmm.
Because from what it sounds like, they're pretty religious people. So it's probably...
I just feel like if they're doing the like praying and stuff and it's not...
Right? It's making it angrier.
Yeah. I feel like this is dumb.
Yeah. Like this thing is very like strong, obviously, to be able to harm somebody. So the seance took place in the dining room late in the evening where Ed and Lorraine Warren
an afternoon seance.
I know. Why nighttime? It makes it so much. I feel like they're supercharged at night.
Exactly. Like they've been napping all day. They're awake.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
She's like rolling up her sleeves.
Let's do brunch.
Brunch when she's a little like tired or something. So it was Ed and Lorraine Warren and another paranormal investigator, Roger and Carolyn Perron. And most of their daughters were upstairs. They weren't supposed to be down there. But Andrea, she was watching from...
Of course she was.
Yeah. She's the oldest. She wants to see what's going on. So the lights were dimmed and the chairs were arranged in a circle. A Bible, candles, and holy water were placed at the table, just so you can kind of imagine what this looked like.
They're like, let's add spook on top of more spooky.
Let's just make it creepier.
Yeah. What'd they do? Just bring a black cat in too?
They should have.
That would have been cool.
I know. That would have been comforting.
Yeah. Emotional support.
Yeah. Andrea, watching from further away, stated, "I peeked around the corner and saw them all seated together. Shadows played on the walls from the candles, and the air felt charged like a thunderstorm about to break." Yikes. As soon as they began their ritual, Lorraine attempted to reach out to the spirit and asked it to reveal itself.
No, that seems like a strong start.
It's also very demanding, I feel like.
That's
reveal
true.
yourself.
Yeah.
And I know you're supposed to be like kind of like that in general. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like with this scenario, it might be a little different. But what do I know? Lorraine said that during this moment, it felt almost as if the room had been invaded. You could feel her anger. She did not want us there. The atmosphere of the room immediately changed. The air grew frigid, and the house seemed to vibrate with an unseen force, which I would immediately be like,
peace.
I know. And then Carolyn suddenly slumped in her chair, her head all the way down, and her limbs just kind of drooping there. And then she stiffened.
No.
She began speaking in a deep voice that was not her own. Some words they weren't able to understand, and other ones sounded like she was like saying like curses.
Oh.
Her body contorted unnaturally as if something was twisting her from the inside.
Oh.
Andrea from afar said, I saw my mother's chair lift from the floor, her body bent backwards, her head and torso hanging, impossible angles. She was not my mother in that moment. She was something else. At one point, Carolyn was hurled across the room like a rag doll, they said, and Roger rushed over to her immediately. He later said, whatever it was, it nearly killed my wife that night. I told the Warrens they were never to come back. I would not have her go through that again. So like you said, it pissed them off.
Yeah.
Lorraine tried to intervene, praying loudly, commanding the spirit to leave. Carolyn collapsed, unconscious but breathing, and the room fell silent. Lorraine reflected in an interview saying, what I saw in Carolyn that night was a level of oppression I rarely witness. The entity wanted her soul. Which is spooky.
Ew.
I know, don't like that. After the seance, the Warrens were immediately asked to leave. Roger believed that their interference almost cost his wife her life. Carolyn recovered but remained fragile. They said that they learned to adapt to the hauntings and just how to live with it. The Perron children mentioned that it wasn't just angry spirits, but some were nice, and some even seemed to be protective at times, which is
I love
pretty
that
sweet.
It's attacking Caroline, and they're like, just live with it.
They're like, just get over it,
Yeah.
Carolyn. Jesus.
Oh my God.
She's all like unconscious. The family couldn't afford to move out. Roger had invested everything into the home and money was very tight for them.
No.
So it wasn't until 1980 that they were able to sell the home and move to Georgia. So they put up with that for like a decade.
Carolyn put up for it.
Carolyn did.
Yeah.
Everyone else was kind of just like, mm-hmm.
Yeah, everybody else gets the nice ones.
I know. They're like, there's nice spirits here too. She's like,
she's
where?
like, you guys
She's
are
like
like
a
switch.
pincushion.
I haven't slept in 7 years.
I know. She's being like suffocated every night. Jeez.
Oh my goodness.
So that was the story of the Conjuring house. I don't know who owns it today. I was going to look that up and I forgot, but clearly you can go stay there. You can do paranormal investigations there. It's set up the exact same way that it was at that time. But there's something about those 1700-year-old spirits, man. Because the Bell Witch, I think, was also the 1700s.
They've been training for years. Yeah.
Well, I also feel like that was like the age of like witchcraft, right? Like, right?
Yeah.
Or kind of.
Probably.
Yeah. So, like everything, there's good and bad. There's dark magic and there's good magic.
Yeah.
I
I
don't know
feel
the other
like
one.
the difference with the Bell Witch was like she like did a test on the guy and he failed the test. And so then she like went after him.
Yeah, like he pissed her off and then she messed with him for most of his life and supposedly poisoned him. I mean, but she eventually left them alone.
She had a reason.
Yeah.
There was a backstory to her. With this, it seems out of nowhere.
She was just ready.
I didn't hear anything that Carolyn did bad.
I don't think Carolyn did anything bad. But we didn't know that much about Roger. Just
True.
kidding. But
True.
then why would she attack Roger?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah. Conjuring house.
Very cool. Very scary.
So do you want to take a break?
Yeah.
When we get into yours? Okay. And we're back.
We are back. And Tayler, I've got something to tell you. So we got to keep the spooky season vibe going. And so this guy that I'm going to tell you about today. So you know how like we've always been told not to take candy from strangers?
Mm-hmm.
It might be because of this guy.
Oh.
I am covering the Candyman, Dean Corll.
Candy.
Yeah. He's also been described as like the real life Pennywise. Yeah. So
don't like that.
Yeah. Not because he dressed like a clown or anything, but because
he is a clown.
He is. Yeah. He's not great. But because it's going to involve a lot of like disappearances of teenagers and kids.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, in a small town. So it's been like described as like the real life it.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Dean Corll was definitely a monster. Gonna just share up front, there were 28 confirmed murders in this story.
Damn.
At the time, it was the worst serial murder case in U.S. history. It was surpassed by John Wayne Gacy. But Corll came first, and I'm going to go into some stuff with him that I found very fascinating. So I feel like I can't do Gacy without doing Corll first. Okay. So Dean Corll was born in 1939 in Fort Wayne, Indiana. He is the oldest of two boys. His parents were Mary and Arnold, and they fought constantly. They divorced, then they remarried each other, and then they divorced each other again.
Toxic.
Yeah, so chaotic. Yeah, that's what I wrote. Dean was very much attached to his mom. She defended him, spoiled him, and made excuses for everything he did. But his dad tried to toughen him up, but that just pushed him closer to his mom. Like, he didn't respond well to tough love, especially if his mom was just going to be like coddling him. Mm-hmm. Neighbors also described Dean as polite, shy, maybe a little off, and that he like kept to himself. But they also noticed that he had like a little bit of a mean streak, but it came out in like very small ways. So one of the ways was that he'd shoot squirrels with a BB gun.
Oh,
yeah, which like might be kind of normal. He's in Texas, like, so hunting is big. So I'm not gonna like super hate on him for that, because I know that they do some weird stuff in Texas. But
squirrels, though.
However, Dean wasn't doing it for like target practice or hunting practice. He wanted to see what death looked like. So definitely shows up later in his psychological profile. So that's when he's a kid. Then after he graduates high school, he does a short stint in the army. He never saw combat, though, and he didn't make any friends, didn't last long. He was discharged in about a year, and he went right back home to Houston Heights. And this is to help his mom with this new candy company that she bought. So she starts like a Willy Wonka situation. And her candy company was Pecan Prince. Okay. Pecan, however you want to say it. So this candy company just happened to be right next to an elementary school. So every afternoon after school, kids would rush over for free samples. Dean was always conveniently behind the counter. He was described as polite and soft-spoken, always ready with candy for the kids.
Of course he was.
He's like, here you go, kids.
He's like, got the candy. Loser.
Parents loved him. Teachers thought he was a dream just because the kids loved him. But he's also handing out candy.
Yeah.
But he definitely seemed like the kind of guy that like everybody in the neighborhood just trusted completely. Dean, however, never really acted like the other adults. After work, instead of spending time with any coworkers or even dating, he hung out where teenagers did. He would go to skating rinks or corner stores, just any like local hangouts that he
hang around.
And Houston Heights at the time was described as like this place where like kids were it's also the 70s at this time. So the kids are just kind of like wandering around, but there's always some like group of kids somewhere. So he was just like finding wherever like local hangouts the kids were at and would go there.
Creepy.
Super creepy.
Wait, how old? Around what age was he again?
He was in his 20s at this time.
Okay, so he wasn't like old, but still weird to be like trying to hang around teenagers.
Exactly. And like as an adult, it's just Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was in his late 20s. Sorry. That was like literally my next sentence.
Oh.
No, that means you're anticipating the story. Great question.
Thank you.
But yeah, so his social life basically revolved around kids versus like any adult interaction.
Mm-hmm.
So he would give the kids rides home. He would buy them snacks. He'd even let them hang out at his place. To the adults in the neighborhood, it looked harmless. He is just the quiet guy down the street who looked out for the like neighborhood boys. That was the other thing, as he always hung out with boys, not girls. Mm-hmm. So his mom gets remarried and moves away, but Dean stays behind and he actually closes the candy shop and he gets a steady job as an electrician, but kept doing the same thing, surrounding himself with teenage boys.
Ew.
Eventually, he starts inviting them over more and more often. He offers them beer, weed, and even gets a pool table. So it's like this very much like, this is
like, of course they want to go over there.
This is a teenage boy's dream.
Yeah.
This is,
well, I feel like teenagers in general, like just thinking back to being a teenager, like, oh, you could get alcohol here?
But
or they're going to give a...
Notice he goes from candy shop to basically running his own bar. And like, so he has been watching these boys probably as they were little to become teen.
So gross. Yeah.
So this is like the setup that is like, again, dream for these guys. There's no parents, no rules. It's just this like chill older guy who made them feel really cool, like hanging out with like an older guy too. Cause I mean, you probably felt this way in high school. Yeah. If I was hanging out with somebody older, I was like, oh, I'm real cool.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So he totally used that to his advantage. He blended in perfectly. He was calm, very likable. The community really liked him, so they trusted him. And nobody ever thought twice about him hanging out with these kids. So Dean kept the same rhythm for a while. He would work during the day, kids at his place after dark. And again, no one questions it. It's just Dean being Dean. So he keeps rolling along. So then it becomes Dean wasn't just giving them a place to hang out. He started like testing them. He would see which one of like out of the boys that were hanging out at the apartment, he would see who trusted him, who might be giving him like a little bit of like attitude back, or who would do whatever he said just to stay on his good side. So he would have these like little things that he would do.
Interesting.
Yep. And that's when he zeroes in on David Brooks. David started hanging around when he was about 15. He didn't have much structure at home, so Dean filled that gap. He'd show up after school, eat dinner at Dean's, crash on the couch if he wanted. Dean made sure that David felt seen. He'd tell him he was smart, special, that the other adults in his life didn't understand him, that Dean got him. He'd laugh at his jokes, ask about his day, let him drink and smoke without judgment. So to this kid, this felt like loyalty and understanding. But Dean was building something. That kindness came with quiet conditions. Every gift, every ride, every late night hangout, all of it was a way to keep David dependent. So it started with small stuff like, I'd do anything for you, right? You don't tell your parents about our hangouts, right? They wouldn't get it. Then came bigger things. The gifts started to feel heavy. He would give him things like a bike or a watch or just straight up cash. And it was always followed by Dean being like, you owe me now, right?
Ew.
So this is what we call grooming. And it doesn't always look dangerous, but it's basically like turning that trust that they're building into a trap. So David later said that Dean began paying him for what he called companionship. I'm sure you can put two and two together. What was really happening was that Dean had turned attention into control and he started assaulting David. Once he had David completely tied to him, he pushed it further. He told David he was working with a group, that there were men in Dallas who paid for runaways. He said that there are kids that no one cares about and they're better off gone. And he offered David $200 for every boy he could bring to him. This was a huge amount of money back then. And David was 16, naive, and already used to doing things that Dean said to do, so he just believed him.
Mm-hmm.
So he started bringing his friends over. Boys he knew from school, kids he would go to the skating rink with, or just people from the neighborhood that he knew.
Mm-hmm.
He'd tell them Dean was throwing a party and that there would be beer and music and they could crash over if they wanted to, so they didn't have to explain to their parents. So they'd go for the party, but they'd never make it home.
Mm.
When parents started asking questions, Dean already had stories ready. He'd be like, they ran away, they joined the army, they moved away for work. Like, I laughed when I read that, but the police believed Dean. And this was the early 70s. And especially in Houston Heights, it wasn't the kind of neighborhood that that this wasn't actually unheard of.
Yeah.
Like, kids would go missing all the time. The police didn't really go like looking for them. It was actually really regular that these
kids would just take off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It wasn't the greatest neighborhood. There's also like no missing person protocol. So like the police don't have any like rules that they're following for this type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So like if a boy did go missing or just any kid in general went missing, the police were just like, yeah, they're just probably a runaway and would never look into it.
So he got away with it for a while then.
Oh, yes, he did.
Ugh.
So parents kept calling and the cops kept telling them just to like wait it out. Weeks turned into months. Oh, I didn't put this in here. So some of the kids that went to these parties and stuff would actually call home and tell their parents that they were like leaving.
Oh.
Which also added to like them being like, oh, well, they were at Dean's or like something like that. So the police would be like, yeah, they probably ran away and just didn't call you like this other kid did.
Mm-hmm.
The parents though were calling the cops and the cops kept telling them to like wait it out. So weeks turn into months. No one looked twice at Dean, who always had kids hanging around his house. Like that was the norm. But meanwhile, David started changing. So David is the kid that is helping Dean recruit these guys. He stopped seeing any of his like normal friends because they were all gone. He started skipping school. He spent almost all of his time at Dean's. It was like whatever Dean had on him had gotten stronger. And by then, the number of missing boys in Houston Heights was starting to look impossible to ignore.
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you're going to get to this, but if you are, then okay. But does he know what he's doing?
I'll get it.
You will? Okay.
So by the spring of 1972, it had been 2 years since the disappearances started.
Mm-hmm.
A few parents started comparing notes, realizing how many of the missing boys knew the same man. The neighborhood was still trying to make sense of it, but Dean was already grooming someone new.
Oh.
Another kid and another project. This is now where he meets Elmer Wayne Henley. Elmer Wayne Henley Jr. We're just going to call him Henley.
Okay.
So he was actually intended to be a victim of Dean Corll's.
Mm-hmm.
But so David had brought him over to be one of the victims, but Dean really liked him. Like the difference with David and Henley is that David was like kind of like quieter, like on the outskirts, but Henley was very popular and very like, you know how I said like all the kids would like roam around the neighborhood and stuff? Like Henley could easily bounce between each group with like no question about it. Like he was just very liked and
people person.
Exactly. So Elmer Wayne Henley Jr. was 16 when he met Dean Corll. Like I said, he's another Heights kid. He was trying to make some money. He was bouncing between part-time jobs in high school. He and David had known each other really well. So David introduced him to Dean. And then when Dean met him, he really, really liked him. So then Dean decided to start paying him to help him out. So at first, Dean framed it like work, helping him move stuff, doing odd jobs, wiring equipment. Then one day he told Henley the same lie he told David, that there was a group of men in Dallas who paid for boys, and these boys are runaways, so no one will miss them. Henley didn't believe it, not at first. He even told his mom about it, but he was 16, broke, and living in a house where his mom was like barely scraping by. So when Dean offered him $200, same deal as he offered David, Henley took it. He thought he was helping traffic runaways. That's how Dean presented it. He'd tell him, these kids want to go. You're just giving them a ride to a better life.
I think I missed that part. So they think the kids are just going to that. Like the kids that they're bringing in are going to that runaway thing? Or are you still going to get into that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is an interesting thing about this story is because they are saying that sometimes they were told like they were bringing these kids like to like be trafficked.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's stories about like the handcuff game. So like there would be times where like Henley or David would be in the room and they were told by Dean to like pretend that these handcuffs that they had were like trick handcuffs and really easy to get off. So they would like show the boys and then the boys would go put the handcuffs on, but the handcuffs were really handcuffs. And so they would have their like arms locked behind their back and then Dean would come in and take the boy and like they would disappear.
Oh, okay. So they had like a little bit of an idea that something weird was going on.
They for sure knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Like they for sure knew what was going on. And I will get into it.
Okay.
So this pattern kept going on through 1972. Missing posters were going up. Parents started calling each other, noticing the same handful of names. Dean, David, and now this new kid, Wayne Henley. So remember, the parents are kind of like putting pieces together on their own because the police aren't doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
Things start getting darker. So Dean's temper started getting shorter and he started drinking more. David began pulling back, trying to avoid Dean, but Dean then started leaning harder on Henley. He'd tell him he was different, that he could trust him more than anyone else. Henley wanted to believe that. He was young, insecure, mm-hmm. and convinced that he was part of something bigger, like this like secret job that mattered. So by the start of 1973, Henley had become Dean's favorite. This is where things began to fall apart. Mm. So August 8th, 1973, Henley is 17 and he's basically living at Dean's place. He sleeps there most nights and does basically whatever Dean tells him to. So that night of August 8th, he shows up with two friends, 17-year-old Tim Curley and 15-year-old Rhonda Williams. First girl that has been brought over to Dean's house.
Oh, yeah.
So Rhonda had a rough life at home. Her dad had just kicked her out and Henley was trying to help. He told her that you can crash at Dean's place. He won't mind. Dean minded. When they walked in, Dean's mood changed immediately. He pulled Henley aside saying, No girls allowed. Oh my God, he is like
yeah.
The He-Man Woman Haters Club.
That is him.
So he pulls Henley aside and he says, I hate girls in my house. Henley tries to calm him down and was like, it's just one night. She's got nowhere else to go, and that they would leave like immediately in the morning. Mm-hmm. So then Dean doesn't argue with him. He just kind of goes quiet. He turns the radio on, hands out beers, acts like everything is fine again. And they stay up talking until everyone passes out. When Henley wakes up, he couldn't move. His wrists and ankles were tied. His mouth was taped shut.
Uh-oh.
Rhonda and Tim were tied up too. And Dean Corll was standing over them holding a .22 caliber pistol. Dean told Henley that he had ruined everything, that he never should have brought a girl there, and that then he said he was going to kill all three of them.
Damn.
So Henley starts begging and he tells Dean, like, let me fix this, that he'll help. He'd do whatever Dean wanted. And so Dean unties him and he says, prove it. And he says, kill her first.
Oh.
So Henley walks over to Rhonda, and Rhonda is tied to a board on the floor, and she looks up at him and she says, you're not going to do this. Mm-hmm. And then that's when Henley turns back towards Dean and says he can't, and he shoots Dean 3 times.
Oh, okay.
Once in the forehead and twice in the chest.
Damn.
So he stands there shaking, but then he just walks outside completely barefoot, crosses the street to a payphone, and calls the police.
Mm.
When police get to the house, Henley is sitting on the front steps with the pistol beside him. And they said he looked calm, but they also said he looked empty.
Aw.
Don't feel bad for him.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you can, but I don't. He knew what was it.
I just feel bad because they were manipulated. And
Yeah,
they're like kids.
I know. Yes, I know.
But also there is, I get it.
I know.
It's a weird balance.
It's such a weird balance, but I'm also like, this is the problem sometimes with like true crime stuff, I guess, is like, it's also being told through so many different perspectives. You never know what happened. You never know. But like when somebody's like compliant like this, it was, okay. I'm going to get to it. Sorry.
Okay. It's okay.
Okay, so I shouldn't have like such a strong opinion. I'm here to tell a story, not to have opinions.
We can have opinions.
Okay. So they say that he looks calm or empty, and then he just says to them, I just shot Dean. At first, officers think it was maybe like a drunken fight, and then they go inside and the house doesn't match that story. Because like walk in and the living room is like super normal. It's like the pool table, beers, radio still playing. So it just like looks like not disturbed in the way that if this was like a fight that broke out, something would have been broken or something. And then they get to the back room and there are handcuffs bolted to the wall. There's a wooden torture board with ropes through each corner. So like to strap somebody up. Plastic sheeting on the floor, very Dexter. And a crate of tools stacked neatly beside it. So what they're putting together is like normal up front, torture
Dexter
room in the back. Yeah, Dexter in the back. So at the station, Henley says that he was in self-defense. He had been tied up and that Dean was going to kill all 3 of them. But as the night went on, shock starts wearing off and he started talking. He says that Dean had lied to him for years, told him that they were helping runaways, but that night he saw what was really happening with all of 3 of them tied up, that basically he was saying like that was the first time he saw like what Dean was truly doing. But he's been staying at that apartment for years. Don't tell me you never looked in the back room. Then he says there are others and I can show you where. He told them that there was...
because if he knows that, then he has to know the other part too.
So Henley tells them about a boat shed that Dean had been renting for years and that he had been there before and he had even helped dig there. When they followed him out and opened the door to the shed, it was like almost like a heat kind of came out of it.
Ew.
And then this like thick sour smell.
Ugh.
So detectives start digging and a few inches down, they find a plastic sheet tore open and a human foot.
Ew. Gross.
Then they start digging even more and they find another and another. By the end of that first day, they have unearthed 17 bodies.
Jeez.
All boys and all missing from Houston Heights. I'm not going to go into the details, but just know that Dean Corll was also a sexual sadist. So the conditions of these bodies were not just like they were finding bodies, they had been. Yeah. And they are stacked like one on top of another. So like it's like every few inches, they're just finding another boy. So once the news broke, everything exploded. Parents flooded the police lines, desperate to know if one of the bodies was their son.
Aww.
Which like, I don't know what's worse, finding out if it was or if it wasn't.
Yeah. I feel like finding out that it was.
So Henley kept talking. He told police there were more burial sites, that there was one at High Island, Bolivar, Peninsula and near Lake Sam Rayburn. So over the next several weeks, investigators took Henley and Brooks to each site. Every time the same grim pattern happened. A few feet of digging, they would find torn sheets of plastic and another boy beneath it. When it was all over, the final count was 28 victims. Again, this was the worst serial murder to date at that time in American history. The FBI stepped in and reporters swarmed Houston Heights. So for weeks, families waited behind the police tape, hoping and also dreading to hear a name. Henley and Brooks gave names when they could of the boys that they brought over, but some boys were never identified. They had simply vanished and were never recovered.
Aww.
Dean Corll, the polite candy man, the electrician everyone trusted, had been killing for 3 years right in the middle of the neighborhood.
That's crazy.
It's insane. And like, this is not, again, I don't think I gave like the exact size of the town, but this is another like one of those small towns. Like, it's wild.
Yeah. Because even if like kids do like kind of take off, that's a lot of kids to take off.
28 kids in 3 years.
Yeah.
And the police are just not doing nothing.
And they're all like involved in the same kind of groups. So it's just like, you just think they're all taking off.
But so this case changes everything. It was one of the first that pushed the FBI to formally profile serial offenders. They studied Dean's patterns, his grooming, his control, and his accomplices.
I was about to say, and I feel like I couldn't say it either.
Accomplices.
Oh, I thought you were going to say accomplishments.
Accomplishments. Wait a second, Tayler.
I don't even remember the sentence you were saying.
So
I got too distracted with the accomplishments.
Accomplices. His partners in crime.
Okay.
So before this, they didn't really have like, this is like the same thing, like Mindhunter, like the BAU. So they need to like, this is the first time that they've ever seen something this insane. So like they're trying to study him so that they can apply their learnings from him to other killers. And so what they're looking at, like I said, is the grooming, the control, and then the people that he worked with and how he was able to get control over these guys. And that they realized that they were looking at a type of killer they didn't have language for yet.
Oh.
So after Corll, behavioral profiling became a cornerstone of how the FBI tracked killers like Bundy, Dahmer, and Gacy. So both Henley and Brooks were charged with multiple murders. Henley cooperated. He led police to the burial sites. He testified in court, ultimately sentenced to 6 consecutive life terms. David Brooks received a life sentence as well. Henley later claimed he didn't truly understand what was happening until that final night. I find that hard to believe.
It kind of reminds me of like, I'm sure maybe he didn't actually see it, but like he like knew, but was turning a blind eye to it because he's like, I got a sweet deal right now. Like,
yeah, you're right. And like he is being groomed, so like it is hard to like say that, but I also think like for him, I don't know, because then there's also like the side where it's like he's a victim too. You know what I mean? Yeah,
and I just think not because he did play his part no matter what age he is, but it's just like also like I feel like kids at that age is just like you're not fully developed yet. Your brain's not fully. And I can't remember if we've talked about this, but just like they're just easy to manipulate and
Well, and we have talked about this. If an adult is telling you to do something, you usually trust the adult.
Especially if you don't have a good home life. And it seems like he picked on the kids that didn't. So it's just like they already don't have like or at least one of them didn't like have a good structure at home. So it's probably even easier.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I see it both ways.
I do. I wanted to hate I can hate Dean Corll.
It's Dean.
So remember how Dean's mother was like coddling him? Like when she was younger? She refused to believe any of this.
So she's like, he would never.
He never did this. Not my boy.
They're like showing the prints. She's like, no.
She said her son was framed and that the boys made it all up.
Augusta Jr.
Yeah, for real. And so the victims' families, though, never really got real closure. For years, they have been told their kids were just runaways. And then this had to have been horrifying. Every day they just kept finding more bodies. And so the families were literally just waiting to see if their kid's name was called.
Yeah. It's really sad.
One of the victims that were identified, their family spoke out and they said that Dean Corll did not just kill 28 boys. He killed 28 families. Mm-hmm. So that is the story of Dean Corll, the Candyman.
Well, I loved your story of you story. I loved your telling of the story. I hate Dean.
I hate it. And
yeah.
He's like, oh. And like I said, there's so much in like what he actually did to these boys.
Yeah.
But I feel like you got the gist of it. I don't like telling that stuff.
Yeah. It's almost like, even though that's probably in like documentaries and stuff, it just almost feels like we don't need to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just know that he was a monster. And yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I did find it fascinating about like how he kind of became the like initial subject to like study and create this profile that
that is interesting.
Yeah. Oh, and it's also said that Gacy may have followed Dean Corll's case. Like, you know who John Wayne Gacy is?
Mm-mm.
I will cover it one day, but gist of it, he basically was Dean Corll. He lured he lured boys. There's like maps of you can find online. He would hide the bodies in like the walls of his house and stuff.
And he followed that case.
Yeah, and he was actually a clown, like literally dressed up as a clown.
He was dressed as a clown and he was a clown.
Yeah, so he might have followed Dean Corll's case. It's been like said, but I guess never like truly confirmed. But it wouldn't surprise me. And then also with Dean now he died, where John Wayne Gacy survives.
They're still alive.
I don't know if he's actually still alive. He might be. There's been like a lot of interviews and documentaries with him.
Mm-hmm. Well, looking forward to hear about that one.
Yeah.
I just randomly remembered. I feel like you don't remember this though, because I think I've brought it up like multiple times and you're like, yeah, I don't remember. Do you remember that one time we were driving? It was like, we had to be like maybe teenagers or early 20s at the time.
It's like the clown?
Yeah.
I do remember that.
Wait, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm thinking of a different story you don't remember. But
there was one you texted me this week and I was like, I do not know what you're talking.
That one wasn't scary.
Yeah.
That was scary. That was
scary.
Weird. Yeah. And that was that around the time that the clowns were killing people?
I can't remember. Oh, wait, well, we should give context. Taylor and I were driving and we like stopped at this light and we
were about to turn on the freeway because it had the double turn lanes and they were right next to us.
Yeah. And we like looked over and it was just this dude in like a full clown
suit.
Yeah.
And doing this really slow, creepy
like
wave.
He had been like staring. Because like normally I feel like I don't look over at the car next to me. Like I'm kind of just
I'm getting goosebumps.
But like both of us like looked over and he had been like staring at us.
Yeah. There was no reason he needed to be dressed as a clown either. It wasn't Halloween.
He had no business.
And I think at that time, I don't know for sure, but remember there was the clown cases going on around us. Like there was, but they were like, I don't remember what they were doing.
I feel like there were.
I
don't remember. I remember the clowns that were just like standing around creeping people out. But
maybe that's what they're. Yeah,
I'm sure there's ones that were escalated. That yeah. Everybody's got to take one things way too far.
But anyway, yeah, that was our fun clown story. I texted Colleen in case people want to know. We went to Tucson. I can't believe because I only texted you about it. I didn't actually tell you about it in person, but I'm really surprised you don't remember because I always think about it. We were at this Mexican restaurant and we were with her sister, who's your older sister, and like her friends. And I feel like we were the clowns in this situation because there was like this big, like, I don't know if it would have been a jalapeno or it would have been something else. Wait.
I still don't remember, but I was trying to remember the things. And
the what?
I was trying to remember what you texted me that I didn't remember, and I forgot.
Oh, you forgot it again? Well, so it was a big one, and we were like, I wonder what it tastes like. I can't remember if I took a bite first or you took a bite first, but it was like immediate. We were like, our mouths were on fire and they were laughing at us. And then they were saying, oh, you need like milk. Like milk, I guess, like helps. And,
yeah.
But obviously they didn't have any milk, but we were like drinking water and it was making it worse.
I mean,
so funny.
It's not like I don't believe you. I just don't remember.
It definitely happened. I don't know why it's so like prominent in my mind. I think it was just like so stupid.
Was that the same Tucson trip where we went around
as Pac-Man? As Mrs. Pac-Man? Yeah, it was. Because we only went a couple of times, I think. And yeah, we did a lot of stuff. We need to find that video.
Yeah.
That was one of our very first podcasts. We recorded ourselves interviewing people in a Mrs. Pac-Man, this big ass Mrs. Pac-Man.
Also, my sister, we went to go see my sister in Tucson, and her and her roommate went out. And so like Tayler and I were just hanging out at my sister's apartment.
We were under 21.
We were under 20.
We could not go out.
We could not go out. And so we're just hanging out at my sister's apartment, and she played on this dodgeball team, and it must have been around Halloween, because she had this like cardboard, like sandwich board, like big, like ghost costume, but it was like a ghost from Pac-Man. We're like, we should just go wear that to stores and like walk around. And so we did.
And we interviewed people, and we'd be like, do you like video games or something? And we'd be like, which one? And we'd like look at our
And if they didn't say Pac-Man, we would just like move on.
Like anything else?
Yeah. And then Tayler almost got her ass kicked by someone.
I do remember that. They were not about it.
They did not.
They did not think
they
it
did
was
not
funny.
like Pac-Man. Yeah.
They didn't like us, and they didn't like Pac-Man.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
I remember laughing so hard. And then I think we like dented it a little bit.
The cat.
No, we did it.
I thought it was the cat that went running at it.
I'm glad we said no. We said it was the cat.
Oh, okay.
So Mowgli kept Tayler. Mowgli was my sister's. Is my sister. No, was.
Mm-hmm.
And you slept on the couch, and Mowgli just kept like running at the window because there was another cat.
Mm-hmm.
But we had told my sister that Mowgli had
dented it. And I don't remember how that happened, but we were doing something. I remember our reactions being like, oh no.
Oh, what happened?
Good times.
Yeah, we'll find that video.
If we can find that video. I know it's on one of our Facebooks.
Oh my God.
We'll get it for you guys. You didn't ask for it, but you're going to see it.
You're going to wish you did.
But anyway, thanks for listening. As always, you can send us emails at
igsttystories@gmail.com
or on social media
at igsttypod. We are on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
All of the things.
You can come see us live.
Yeah, don't forget to come see us live October 11th at Jared's Coffee Shop at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, so happy spooky season.
Happy spooky season. Later.